Hello, everybody, and welcome to Critical Hit.
It's the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to reduce your lifespan by at least 1 hour.
Yeah, the other ones will reduce it by 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's only when you listen to the same amount of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of depressing, really, when you think about it.
Don't listen to us.
Please listen to us. That's how we get out there.
Today is May 26th.
Oh, yeah, it is the 26th.
It is.
And
2015.
yesterday, we just watched... Well, Judith watched it already, but I just saw Mad fucking Max.
Mad Max Fury Road is what we'll be talking about today.
For those of you who haven't seen it yet, this will be a heavy spoiler episode.
Yeah, so turn it off if you haven't seen Mad Max and therefore clearly stuck.
Or don't want to hear about 2 hours of people in a car chase.
Yeah, spoilers, there's a lot of action.
And then not a whole lot else.
No, and that's not a bad thing.
No, I mean, the bits that weren't action served to develop the characters, and it was really, really well paced. It didn't feel like they were trying to, ham-fist anything in.
No, I don't really know what there was to ham-fist aside from cars,
that guitar guy.
The guitar.
Let's see how many times we can get him in the shot.
Oh, he was hugging the camera.
He totally was. He had like 4 appearances and then a fight scene.
Yeah, he's one of the many characters whose names I don't know. And I don't think having seen the previous Mad Max movies would have helped me there. This one seems a bit removed from them. Like
I guess. I mean,
like you can see it if you haven't seen the first 3 Mad Max movies and still enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, everybody is they're really their own developed character, and anyone who has a name either doesn't get mentioned by name or it's too brief, and it doesn't matter anyway.
It doesn't. I mean, it's not helpful in the credits when you want to know who played who. And all these weird-ass names pop up.
Who is dependable?
No, it was capable.
Oh, capable.
I
can't even...
Yeah.
That's how much the name matters.
That was the red-haired wife lady.
Oh, I liked her.
Yeah, she was nice.
She was capable.
Yeah, turns out. But the 5 ladies had weird names that didn't seem like they suited ladies.
Right, and...
It was kind of cool, but...
They're just...
very eccentric.
I guess that's what happens when you're out of gas for years.
Everybody gets a weird name?
Everybody gets a weird name.
That does seem kind of like a post-apocalyptic thing.
Except for Max.
Well, Max existed before the apocalypse, clearly.
So did some of these other people. Oh,
like
I guess...
all the old people.
Yeah, so Joe. But
Joe.
He gave himself a weird-ass title.
Yeah, but he's trying to build himself up as a god, so that was a smart move.
A Norse god, apparently.
Sort of?
They keep referencing Valhalla, and I just think, do any of you know what that is?
No, that's the thing. He knew what it was, because he was old, and he knew about that stuff, so he just taught people who had never heard about Valhalla, and warped what it really meant, and created a suicide cult.
Yeah,
mostly.
I guess so. I mean, they had that whole chrome spray thing when they were about to, kill themselves.
So, Dan, what was this movie about?
This movie was about Charlize Theron.
Yeah, that's about it.
There's nothing else. She had the most dialogue. She had the most to do. She had the most to lose. This was about her.
It was. She was really the main character. And from what I understand of the Mad Max movies, it involves Max walking into a situation, dealing with it, and leaving. He phases in and out while haunted by his own demons.
Which is pretty much exactly how this movie went down.
Yep. I have not seen the other 3 movies, so I can't compare. And I don't think Dan has either.
I don't believe I have either.
I'm pretty sure I was too young when they came out to have any interest in them, and I can't say I ever sought them out.
And if Judith was too young for it, I definitely was.
Yeah, you must have been not born yet or something.
That's very possible. So Max starts out the beginning of this movie, like, he eats a lizard with 2 heads, and then he gets captured by these dudes who are way too white to be living in the desert.
Yeah, well, they mostly live in a cave and only go out into the desert to fight and then come back if they don't die.
I guess.
And they're all anemic, and they've all got cancer.
Yeah, cancer for everybody. It's a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, another important thing that happens in the beginning is there are very, very short blips showing video footage and audio recordings from newscasters getting increasingly frantic as, it kind of subtly, kind of not subtly reveals, hey, the world ended, pretty much.
Hey, we're fighting over oil, and this is what happens if you keep fighting over oil.
Actually, we've already fought over oil, everything got fucked, and then we fought over water, because there was nothing left.
Ah, yes.
There was an oil war and a water war.
So instead of maybe turning our efforts outward into space, where there's an literal infinity, we stayed here on this planet and decided to fuck with it.
And blew everything the shit up.
Yeah! But at least we got some cool cars.
And some awesome post-apocalyptic names.
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
Well, if you go see this movie, you will leave feeling into that kind of thing.
It's true. The moment that we left, I'm like, yeah, this would be... if I were in that world... wait a minute. If I were in that world, I would get killed so quick.
Yep, I'll stay here.
I would die in a heartbeat. I'm okay with the world that I'm in right now. This place is great.
It's all right.
It's
it's pretty rocking compared to that world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that two-headed lizard that darts across the screen in the very beginning that Max just eats also implies, hey, shit got fucked up. Everything's been radiated. Everything has cancer or is mutated or whatever. Because the lizard just has two heads and is like, hey, I'm here. This is my environment.
Chomp.
Oh.
That may have been the only CG aspect of the movie that wasn't like touch-ups.
Yeah.
That may have been the only computer-generated, anything.
I'm pretty sure the entire sandstorm scene was heavily aided by CG. They didn't actually propel a bunch of decked-out trucks 50 feet into the air and then exploding them. No.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but I hope they didn't do that, because there are people inside them that you see flying out.
It's true. I mean, when you talked about this last time, I thought that it was like a little tornado or something like that. I was not expecting this giant-ass wall that it looked like it wasn't moving at first, and then you kind of watch as they get close, like, oh.
But yeah, I didn't tell you the full scale of that because I wanted you to experience it.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was awesome. When that happened, I turned to Judith and I'm like, oh, I see what you mean now.
Yeah, imagine if they had were really being sticklers and all they allowed were practical effects. Well, we're still sitting here in the desert waiting for a sandstorm to come along. We've sat through 2 already. None of them were quite big enough.
And there wasn't really any lightning in the first one, so...
Tom Hardy, just please eat the lizard. It'll be over soon.
I don't want to.
Just eat the lizard.
No.
All right.
This is the 4th lizard.
And
how many times have we had
action.
to... Okay.
Yeah, apparently Mad Max was driving his car from the previous films in that movie in the very beginning, only to have it stolen immediately.
There was some pretty nice shots when it showed up again. He's like, that's my car!
Yeah, that was his berserk button. Seeing someone else drive his car.
I'll kill you!
The car gets wrecked, though.
Yeah, so pretty hardcore.
I wonder how much that pisses off fans of the originals. I don't know how significant it was.
It was a car, and then he ends up leaving. He probably steals another one from someone else. And
it was his signature car or something. What if he'd had it through all 3 movies? Then it gets...
And then they just blow it up.
It gets blown up by a bunch of anemic guys with cancer.
Their fighting tactics were really cool, though.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Where did they come from? The War Boys, these completely white dudes who shave their heads and act crazy.
As far as I can understand, I have no idea. But they all had to have been born after the apocalypse, or at least been born close enough to have been affected by it.
Yeah, they're clearly part of a breeding program run by their boss in an attempt to create, I wouldn't say perfect soldiers, because they are clearly genetically fucked. They've probably been inbred and a whole bunch of shit, but breeding them to be physically capable enough to dedicate their lives to war.
And yeah, actually, because there is a scene where there is a baby, a stillborn child, because the woman holding the child was hit by a car and died, and then they did a really crappy C-section, which was all off camera. Thank you. None of the... we'll get to that in a second. But they say, oh yeah, it was a baby boy, perfect in every way. And one of the, higher up foot soldiers, not even anyone who had a specific name, was like, I had a brother!
Oh, that guy, that I looked up his name. He's Rictus Erectus. Yeah.
Okay.
And he and that incredibly disfigured tiny man who couldn't move out of his chair in the beginning of the film.
Oh, yeah, the fat baby man.
They are the sons of Immortan Joe.
Okay, so the big bad boss man
The big
is
bad boss man.
clearly banging any woman he can get his hands on.
No, he's very selective.
Yeah,
Apparently.
okay, so...
Maybe those two, since they're older, like the really tiny guy had a beard. He looked like he was middle-aged.
Yeah.
And Rictus looks like he's
I
made
would
out
say,
of meat. I would
say maybe late 20s.
Yeah, so they seem to be two failed attempts at having a perfect son because even though, I mean, the first kid, I don't know his name. His problems are obvious.
Yeah.
He can't move.
He's a fat baby child.
The second one, even though he's super muscular and very, very dangerous physically, he's got a breathing apparatus going up around his nose
Yeah, there's
and
something
face.
going on with his lungs.
So he's still got problems. And I guess Joe decided he's going to start a breeding program starring him.
Yeah, and his fat, gross old ass.
To produce a perfect heir. By the way, found out that Joe was a colonel in the Australian Army.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who eventually formed a motorcycle gang after the apocalypse, like you do.
Yeah.
Terrorized a bunch of folks.
This does take place in Australia.
Yes.
Holy shit.
What did you think?
I don't know.
Everyone was Australian.
No.
Almost everyone was Australian.
I could blame that on the fact that everyone was some inbred creep child of Joe.
What are you trying to say about Australians?
Not Australians, Australia.
Okay, but I mean...
Terrifying as fuck.
They all had Australian accents.
Did they?
Yes.
I guess that explains
Except
why
for
half
Furiosa.
the dialogue was,
You
hard to
couldn't
understand.
understand it?
So, that's Boston, Judith.
No.
Or that's like...
No.
4 Kids New York.
I don't hang around with a lot of Australian people.
We should hang out with Australian people.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's just go to Australia, and hopefully the country won't kill us just by existing.
Well, no, you wouldn't, visit Australia and then wander off into the uninhabited outback.
Well, maybe you wouldn't.
Nobody would do that.
I would have a badass car with exploding lances and...
A stupid American would do that.
Yeah!
I've heard funny stories, like an Australian taking an American out to dinner with at a nice restaurant that has a porch that you can overlook the outback or whatever wild area, and the Australian tells the American, you gotta be really careful and guard your food because the kangaroos will come right up and take it.
And then it happens.
No, it doesn't happen. He's lying. And the waiters are wondering why the American's acting like such a weirdo, and he says, I'm trying to make sure the kangaroos don't get my food.
Oh, so then he sounds like more of a douchebag. Oh, that's awesome. Oh. I absolutely would believe that.
I would have been incredibly dubious.
I would have believed it, but then I would just be on the lookout for kangaroos. I wouldn't be, paranoid about it.
Oh, I'm from New York City. I doubt everything everybody tells me.
Oh. I guess that works.
Yeah, it does. Well, often enough. But...
Okay, so we're getting off topic. Where
Australia,
were we?
Still on topic, Australia.
Right.
We were talking about how it's what's his face? Joe, the big bad in this movie. Who was the actor who played the big bad in the first movie, apparently.
Ah.
Only much older and nastier.
Gross.
I hear he's a very nice dude, though.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure that all of these people off camera are really chill.
His backstory is not revealed in the movie.
At all.
Not at all. You don't even need to know. You can figure out a lot.
Are there any backstory? Furiosa gets her backstory talked about.
Yeah, and we know pretty much all we need to know about Max's backstory, too.
Yeah, from the first few moments, he's like, I was a cop, then bad shit happened, and now we're here.
People. My family's dead because of me. I'm going insane. I'm pretty much on the border of being completely insane.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Even if you just even if you don't get the shots of his hallucinations that you're seeing, you could still very clearly see that this man has lost it.
Yep. He still has some humanity left, but not a lot.
A lot of his communication is done through grunting and pointing.
Yep.
And that's kind of a big deal.
It is. I like it.
Yeah, it really shows, without consistent human interaction, consistent good human interaction, people have a capacity to devolve, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that is because of the nuclear fallout, or if that's just loneliness to the nth degree, or the situation that he's put in where he has to keep fighting all the time. But he's clearly unhinged, and he's not even remotely the man that he used to be.
He calls himself a man reduced to a single instinct: survive, which is that one thing we have in common with every single animal. And Max seems pretty animalistic for a lot of the movie, just focused on living through everything that happens and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment that he meets Furiosa, he's pointing a useless shotgun at them. They don't know that. And he's clearly set up this situation where he's antagonizing them, but then the moment that they have a common goal, escape from the other bad thing, it just kind of falls into place. He's like, yeah, I'll help you out, and yeah, please don't let me die.
Right, and he might recover a little bit of his humanity by interacting with Furiosa and the other women.
He did. It really seemed to be that way.
But as with the end of all the movies he's in, apparently he moves on in the end.
Bye, Max.
Bye, Max. See you next time. I hope there's a next time.
I don't know.
This movie's been in development hell since 1998, apparently.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. How long has it been since the last Mad Max movie? Like 20-something years?
I have no idea, but yeah, I would put my money on a large number.
I don't know how this is doing financially. Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything about the finances, but I have heard that, people are raving about it.
Yeah, I hope there's a sequel, and one of my friends told me there was already a script for a sequel made or something like that.
Ooh.
So...
Here, you
Hopes
keep
up.
talking about it. I'm going to check the finances.
Anyway, we were trying to talk about the big bad guy, the big, fat, ugly bad guy named Immortan Joe, and how his backstory is never revealed because it's not really necessary. But he does have a backstory. He used to be a colonel in the Australian Army, turned into a motorcycle gang boss asshole where he rode around killing a bunch of people and taking their women, and eventually he found an aqua something plant. I don't know the name of it. A water plant that was built into 2 giant rocks. He killed everybody living there, took it over, made himself out to be a god, and built a society around people sacrificing themselves for him.
The end.
Yep. You can figure that much out, or at least enough of that out, just by watching what happens.
Yeah, like you said at the very beginning, this is a movie that is completely standalone. You don't need to know anything about anybody.
No matter what somebody tells you, if they're like, you needed to watch all the other movies to enjoy this experience, they were fucking stupid.
And wrong.
Which
is just an awful thing to be.
You'd have to be so dumb to not get what's going on here. Or a kid. And if you're a kid, why are you watching this movie?
Yeah, your parents probably need to do a better job. So I just found out that it took... The production budget was about $150 million.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now... they have made, through domestic and international sales, about $216 million. So it is a slight profit.
So it's paid for itself?
It's paid for itself and then some. And there could be a sequel if it's this well received. And this is only the second weekend?
Yes, I believe it is.
Maybe?
Second or third. It's still pretty early.
And it's still going, so it's just going to keep making more money.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the requirements are to get a sequel nowadays anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, let's try and keep this connected for a second. The director also directed such great hits as Happy Feet 2.
Yeah, well, he directed the first Happy Feet.
He directed both of them, and Happy Feet 2 closed down the studio that was built to do the first Happy Feet.
Yeah, I guess you can't keep making movies without a studio.
Yeah, so, I mean... I don't know how well Happy Feet did, but it couldn't have been that financially successful.
Enough to warrant a sequel. And he also directed Babe, the movie about the pig.
That whole series.
And that got a sequel, which he also directed.
So from the man who brought you Babe
and Happy Feet
comes Mad Max.
To be fair, he did direct the other Mad Max movies, but
yeah, that is a pretty good thing that it was him, the original director of the original Mad Max series, coming back to do this one.
Yeah, George Miller, that's the name.
By the way.
Yes.
I spaced on it too.
It's easy to remember. Deceptively easy.
Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a sequel, but I won't hold my breath for it.
I would.
I mean, another sequel would be completely unrelated to the characters that we saw in this movie, except for Max.
Most likely.
So we wouldn't get Furiosa again, except maybe as a cameo.
It was still a good movie, and I would want to see another good movie. It's so rarely do I see a good movie nowadays anymore.
It's true.
This is the first time I've been to the theater in months because I refuse to waste my money on bullcrap.
Oh, you didn't see Age of Ultron?
No, still haven't gotten the friend I promised to see it with to go see it. I'll just watch it on DVD.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. That movie was okay. You're not missing a whole lot.
I feel like I made the right choice.
You saw the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road was more fun.
Mad Max Fury Road, I would watch again.
I did watch it again.
Yeah.
Just to show it to Dan.
I may have blinked 5 times during the whole movie.
Yeah, those first 30 minutes, just stepping on the gas, and that's it.
In a literal and figurative sense.
The movie is basically a 2-hour car chase.
Interspersed with brief dialogue and human connection.
With a lot of electric guitar music and drums and tons and tons and tons of cars.
Yeah, I'll admit I didn't really notice the music for the most part, but it was there and I still felt pumped.
Yeah.
That guitar guy was pretty awesome.
The music was a lot of drums. A lot of drums just beating and beating.
That was probably a heartbeat thing.
A heartbeat thing?
Yeah, I mean, rock music in general has the same drum beat that is supposed to mimic the human heart. And that's why you can connect with it a lot easier than some other music, because there is an actual physical connection between you and the beat of the music.
How spiritual.
So it's very possible. I mean, this was a war caravan, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So the drums were there to get people going.
Yeah.
You know,
and
you
there were
hear
times when I wasn't sure if it was the war caravan's drums or just, the soundtrack playing.
That's the thing. I mean, like I said, the war drums were there to get the blood pumping.
Yes.
And that's what you need in a 2-hour-long car chase.
That's what the guitar music was there for, too, to actually rile up the soldiers using the power of heavy metal and paint fumes.
They made a video game about that, starring Jack Black.
What?
Brutal Legend.
Oh.
That happened a while ago.
Yeah.
And it was an okay game, but you're basically Jack Black inspiring forces with heavy metal.
Hopefully not like these. I wouldn't want to see Jack Black on the wrong side of the apocalypse.
No, he was on the right side, I think.
Ish?
He was fighting Tim Curry as the devil.
Oh, that's always the right side, fighting Tim Curry. Tim Curry's never good.
I love you, Tim Curry.
Never. I mean, he's never a good guy. He's a good actor. In the right situation.
Yeah. But, so yeah, the music definitely kept me pumped.
Mm-hmm.
And then every so often there was a quiet moment where you're like, okay, I finally get to breathe.
Yeah, exactly. This movie is about 90% action sequences.
And 90% practical effects.
Yeah,
so those action sequences are real.
Not all of them, but a lot of them. Miller himself, I believe, said that he did not want to get caught up in overuse of CGI, which we were talking about last show.
Yeah, and God bless you.
Seriously.
I mean, I looked at we were watching the credits, but none of the names really stuck out. So I checked it out again, and the visual effects department, the explosions, the weapons, the cars, the everything, that was the largest department by a factor of 2.
That was a huge part of the movie.
Exactly.
Almost the entire thing.
And it shows.
Yeah. It was a great team.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, if you're into having fun,
just watch this movie. I mean, it's a good, fun time, and the violence in it is not overdone. It's subtle,
no.
you know?
Yeah, there are a few things that made the audience go like, Oh my god,
like the C-section or the
off-screen C-section.
Yeah, the
off-screen.
It was technically off-screen because it just showed the very top of the belly bump and then the guy with the knives, but it didn't show him cutting into her.
Yeah, it was pretty much all sound effects.
And barely that, too.
Mm-hmm.
And the gunshots, it's typical gunshot. You see maybe a small explosion of blood. But again, that was all very subtle, and it was done at a distance, so you weren't too close to it. The closest thing to any real, visceral gore was at the very end. Furiosa gets the Joe's breathing apparatus locked around
using her
winch.
Mechanical arm, which she sacrifices in the process.
And she gets him winched up to the car behind him, and his whole face practically rips off.
His whole face does rip off, except for his eyes.
You see it for less than half a second, and then it cuts away.
Because this movie's not relying on shock value. It doesn't need that to get you excited.
No, it's all about the jumps in the cars.
No gratuitous violence, no gratuitous sex.
No sex.
None. Thank you again. Not every movie needs that.
I mean, there was a shot of the beautiful women, the wives, the breeding wives, washing off the dust and dirt, but it wasn't sexualized. I mean, yeah, you could see boobs, big deal. The thing is, these women were cleaning up, and it wasn't done with a male gaze. It wasn't like, oh, all the dirt on my body.
It was more like, oh, I'm so fucking tired.
Hit me with the hose.
Oh, and they also discarded their chastity belts.
Oh, that was satisfying.
Was pretty much all that was needed to imply that, yes, these women were sex slaves kept in the Citadel.
Yeah.
Didn't need to show a rape scene. Didn't need to go all goddamn Game of Thrones.
They had a safe wall, or a wall with a safe door that clearly this was used for them. And someone said, the wives are gone. And then you see the wives getting rid of all of their shackles and the chastity belts, and you're like, wow, okay, damn. This is pretty heavy stuff.
And one of them is very, very, very heavily pregnant, and another one is very lightly pregnant. So yeah, it's you figure it out.
And they don't have to show any of it.
No. It
was all implied.
Wow, it's almost like it's easy to do that or something.
Go figure. And I mean, it's this movie does a lot of go figure moments where you're like, wow, they made a movie that had almost no dialogue. Wow, they had a movie with a fantastic female protagonist. Wow, the female protagonist wasn't a love interest or used in any sexual way. Wow, she was competent on her own. Wow, they had a great way of describing the madness of cult mentality and how it is possible to get away from that when you see someone else's point of view. You don't have to abuse any of that. All you have to do is just be clever and take a moment to think about, okay, if this were an actual situation with actual people, how would they actually react?
Witchcraft. How do you make such a film?
Well, Judith, let me show you.
More explosions, yes?
Well, yes, but that's not the main focus. Okay, it is the main focus of this film.
CGI turtles.
No. No CGI turtles.
From space.
No. I refuse. If at the most, we'll give you a lizard.
Naked boobs.
With 2 heads.
That is not naked boobs.
No. No, it is not.
I'm off to make a movie with naked boobs.
Okay, I'll see you in the bargain bin.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So the wives all leave Immortan Joe and the big crazy society he created by choice. But who helps them get out?
Furiosa!
Played by Charlize Theron, and so incredibly hot.
God damn. Oh.
I love this character.
She is so awesome.
She essentially, like we said, is the protagonist.
Yeah, this movie's about her.
Max is sharing that role for sure, and it's, we can figure out that the movie starts with him and ends with him, and the next one will do the same. But he's largely in a supportive role to her.
Yeah, I mean, he does what she needs to get done. Not like she can't do it, but what she needs to have happen. If like they're in a chase. Mm-hmm. Oh no, the engine's down. Send someone to go do it. No, send the albino kid. Oh no, there's someone on the roof of the car. I'm gonna get out there. No, no, no. You keep driving. I'll shoot the guy because I'm expendable.
Right.
Mad Max is expendable.
Max is the drifter, but Furiosa is the character with the mission, which is what this whole storyline was about, is following through on that mission of hers. I feel like this particular movie needed that, and Max doesn't have anything. He's just wandering now.
He's surviving. That's his deal. I just need to survive. Okay, you survive, dude. We're also gonna throw in this sex slave thing and a woman who spent enough time behind enemy lines, quote unquote, to try and really get a serious blow to this awful, awful society.
Yeah.
Like, she said she spent over 20 years doing what she was doing,
Whatever
just so that she could get this one chance. Like, that is some serious dedication.
Yeah, she was kidnapped from her home as a child, along with her mother, who apparently only lived 3 more days after that incident. And she was forced into Immortan Joe's society. They don't really say what she was forced to do, but somewhere in the process, she lost one of her arms. She had to shave her head, and she became an imperator, which is apparently a really high rank in his military.
It's like a general, basically.
Yeah.
She was trusted to carry the fuel cars and get the ammunition. And basically, they said, all right, you have the van. Go ahead and do the thing. I trust you completely. And the moment she gets away from them, like, later, bitches!
Yep, she diverts off course and is just on a mission from there. She has all the wives with her. She wants to get them out of there. Doesn't want people treated like things. They say that a lot.
We are not things.
Yes. And I don't know if she was the one who inspired them. That might have been the pregnant wife, Splendid.
Was that her name?
That was her name. But she was their vehicle, basically.
Yeah.
To freedom.
And, that's when the movie starts, and you go for the next hour and a half watching that.
And she's willing to take any kind of abuse, any kind of injury, any kind of danger, just to make sure that they get to where they're going.
It's really, really inspiring. It's not that she has a death wish. It's more that the mission is so important to her that she is willing to give herself up to see it succeed.
Yes, she would prefer to survive, especially to the end, because they can't make it without her. But once they're returning to the Citadel, she gets beat the hell up.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I did think that she was gonna die.
Yeah, once Chekhov's blood transfusion came in, though, I knew she was gonna live.
Throughout, the movie starts with Max getting kidnapped and hooked up to a blood drip, basically. Because he has O positive or O negative blood. He's a universal donor.
They tattoo it on his back.
And so he's used as a human blood bag to get the albino people back up and going.
And the catheter, what's the tube called? The
catheter?
Catheter stays with him for the entire film.
Yeah.
You notice it a few times.
I did notice it. It's like on his shoulder. It's strapped there, and he's clearly kept it because he knows that it has some use.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking while I'm watching this, is that going to come in handy?
And it does.
And it does. I mean...
So does his former life as a cop, so he knows the emergency procedure when Furiosa's lung is collapsing.
Oh, yeah. He stabs her in the chest.
Yeah.
I really love our cops, I'll tell you what. Oh no, you're dying. Shunk.
No, that's apparently what you're supposed to do if a lung is collapsing.
Yeah, I know, because
they didn't follow up on what should be done after that, but who cares?
They did show him going immediately into the process of aftercare for stabbing somebody in the side, but yeah, they didn't go too much into it. They just stabbed her and then hooked her up to him. And it was really cool because throughout the whole movie, they may have exchanged 2 or 3 lines, but they had this really great click.
Right.
They worked together so well. They didn't have to say a damn thing.
They had a lot in common as to what haunts each of them. They both failed to save people and are looking to be redeemed, and they basically say that.
Yeah. Well, she says it outright.
He says it to us, but not to her. Well, he kind of does. He says, together we can find redemption, implying
Oh, yeah.
that's what he's looking for, too.
Yeah, okay. And I thought it was really cool that he shared his blood with her at the very end. It's like you don't get much more of a connection than that.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally giving himself up to save her.
Yeah, and it's a connection of respect and a shared past, a shared goal, any of those things.
It wasn't
romantic.
It wasn't romantic in the slightest.
Thank
there wasn't
God.
a single bit of evidence of any kind of romance in this movie.
Well, there was a little bit between Nux, the war boy, and what was her name? Capable, the redheaded.
Oh yeah.
But it was very, very small.
It was sweet.
Very sweet.
She was the one who inspired him to stop going through his cult mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And he, through her help, was able to understand that he is meant for something, not just in the whole I will die for king and country, but I can be useful and a part of something that's bigger than me without having to kill myself in a fanatic rage.
Well, he did. He died a truly noble death.
Yes, his death was absolutely noble, as opposed to at the very beginning when he was trying to kill himself for nobility.
And he was all hyped up on paint fumes. Those 2 times he tried to kill himself and failed, and the final time he was pretty serene.
Yeah, he was like, I'll follow you once you're safe. And the moment he said that, we're like, yeah, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're toast.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that. But I think that if he had the opportunity, he would have lived.
He would have continued living.
Yeah.
But in order to tie his storyline up with a neat little bow, he had to sacrifice himself in a true sacrificial way.
It was heroic.
It was truly heroic.
And everything slowed down, and it was beautiful in a tragic sense.
That guitar comes flying at you.
Yeah.
I saw it for the first time in 3D, and that was the one part where I really noticed the 3D, because the guitar is like, here I am.
Yeah, and the steering wheel that flies towards you.
You could tell that was for the 3D glasses.
That was pretty much the only shot that was meant for 3D.
Yeah, I don't like 3D movies. I didn't need to see it that way, but
we've talked about 3D movies before, though.
Fuck them.
I would absolutely watch this movie again and again and again.
I love Furiosa's character. I did. Even after all that trying, she finally makes it to her old home and finds out that she's done all this for nothing. It's all gone. And she has that moment where she just screams.
Oh, that was a great moment, because it wasn't gross sobbing, and it wasn't a close up on her. You see her walking away in the sand dunes, and she drops her prosthesis, and you see, wow, she is clearly feeling all of the exhaustion from everything that has come up to this point.
And the hopelessness of knowing what's just happened.
And I was just waiting for her to fall to her knees, and then she did, and there was this really great wide shot of her on the nothingness of the desert, and she just
silhouetted.
Screams. And you're like,
you can feel the pain.
Yeah. I mean, the moment that they find these old ladies who are like the last ones
from Furiosa's tribe, where she came from,
and they clearly were there from before the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they said, "Wait a minute, you're looking for this place. You should have passed it already."
Yeah, it was that poisoned swamp you passed through. They were looking for the green place, something Furiosa remembered from her childhood of being green and beautiful and having plants and thriving people and all that. And it wasted away while she was gone.
That one tree was all that was left, and they uprooted it.
That
thing. A tree. Yeah, a tree.
But yeah, a badass old lady squad.
Oh man, they were so cool.
You can see why Furiosa was so cool.
Yeah.
This is the first action movie I've seen, at least in a very long time, that had a badass old lady squad.
Old lady squad, yeah. If you watch Red, there was badass old ladies in it.
No, but this is a whole squad of them. Most of them die in really heroic, awesome ways, and it's just... I loved it!
They take on Furiosa's mission, and they're like, yeah, we understand how important this is. We're old. We're not gonna live that much longer anyway.
Yeah. And
They
we
don't
sniped
say
a lot of
that.
people.
Oh my god, they were so good. I want them on my team.
Totally. Or whatever was left of them. I think there were only 2 left.
I don't even think there was that.
I think there were, because I remember my friend asked me, did they all die? And I said no, because I remember seeing them tending Furiosa's mortal wound.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then this time I made sure that I was right about that, and I saw them. There was about 2.
Okay.
So it's nice and realistic. Somebody might live.
And a couple of the wives did die.
Only one.
Only one? You're right. One of them was captured, and then she came back.
Yeah. She actually distracted Joe long enough so that Furiosa could hook his mask up.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
What I thought was the coolest thing was Splendid, the pregnant one.
Mm-hmm.
She literally threw herself between Joe and Furiosa because she knew that he valued the child that was inside her and wouldn't shoot. And he was like, "Get out of the way! That's my child!" And she's
she
like,
gives him this look.
Oh, it was so satisfying.
Fuck yourself.
They all knew that he cared more about the babies
than about them. Yeah, they were called breeders.
And they knew that he cared enough about them to try and take them alive.
To bring his entire army with him, all of his army.
And they specifically said, I think Max accidentally shoots one of them in the leg.
Yeah, he grazed her. Yeah, that was splendid.
And they're like, of all of the wives, you had to shoot his favorite.
Yeah, you think he's going to be grateful to you? If you can't guess what we're getting at, this movie was loaded with strong female characters, and I'm not putting that in quotation marks.
There are two protagonist men. One of them is Max. The other one, the quote-unquote main character.
That one is in quotes.
He's our side main character. And the other one was Nux, the albino child who changed heart.
Who named his lymphoma.
Yeah, he had 2 growths on the side of his neck, and he put little smiley faces on them.
He named them Larry and Barry. That was an endearing moment for sure.
It was sad and endearing. And other than that, every other protagonist, badass woman.
Yeah. And
they all had their own different kinds of badass. Not everyone was a fantastic sniper. They came from
different backgrounds.
Right. One of them, the redhead. I just keep capable. She was like, "No, take me back. I want to come back."
No, that was Cheeto, really? The little one.
I can't do this.
No, I've seen it twice. So.
One of the wives was like, "Take me back. I want to go back." But the moment she gets across, because they pick her up and put her safely on board the other car, and the moment that she gets across, she's like, "All right,
I'm gonna fuck you up,
Furiosa. Let me get you back up here." And they're like, What? Woman said not true thing."
But yeah, she used her previously established desperation to get back as a weapon to help her friends later on.
It was so cool.
And that was pretty much all she could have done. She wasn't very physically capable, and she was the youngest out of all of them and the most scared. But that took a lot of courage. Good character stuff.
She realized, this is something that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Furiosa's safety and her mission is more important than my own, and I could easily die from this, but you know what? I gotta do it.
Yeah, Furiosa just took a stab wound to her lungs and kidney to get you this far. She knew what she had to do.
And, oh man, the fact that she was fighting for so long with that injury.
Right?
Holy hell.
And she was dragging herself over to Joe's car at the end.
Literally dragging.
And she still coughed out that "remember me." This movie's so cool.
Was so badass.
It's worth noting that MRAs, men's rights activists, who are some of the worst people on earth, hate this movie.
Oh god, that was one of the funniest things. Before I went and saw the movie, I kept hearing, "This movie, they lied to us, they tricked us, it was supposed to be a Mad Max movie, but there's this woman doing all the things." I'm like, really? This is cool.
They were saying all that before the film even came out. I might add, they were mad at the poster, Because Furiosa was featured prominently on it, and they're like, she's telling him what to do.
It's her job. It's her mission. Max is just there. He doesn't serve any purpose other than to be there.
He listens to her when he knows that she's right, when he knows that following her will keep him alive.
And she does the same in reverse.
Mm-hmm. He acknowledges she's a better shot than him, so when she's like, let me rest my gun on you, don't fucking breathe, he listens.
That was great. That was a great scene. They only have like 3 bullets with the sniper
one
left
at that point. Yeah.
And one of the wives had actually counted them out because she apparently knew which guns were used for which bullets, which was really cool. So Max fires twice, misses both times, and Furiosa takes a couple steps forward but doesn't say anything, and he knows that she's there. And then he's like, I can't make this shot, and he hands her the gun without saying anything. She puts it on his shoulder to stabilize, and then she's like, don't breathe.
Yep. And then she hits her target and blinds the guy who's coming after them.
From that far away, in the dark.
Right after that, the blind guy is insane, so he still advances, just trying to make up for equality with quantity now, just raining bullets down on them.
Yep.
And then Max is like, I'll take care of it.
Yeah,
and Furiosa lets him. She's like, I can't do whatever it is you're about to go do, so...
This is one of the most satisfying moments in the movie for me, because like you said, he's like, let me take care of this. I'm gonna do something. And he says, she says, if you don't come back, what do we do? And he says, you keep driving.
Yeah.
And he understands the mission, and he knows that this is important and that he's not important.
He just disappears.
He walks off screen, disappears. About 2 seconds later, you see this explosion in the distance, and then he's walking back.
Yeah, and it's all
covered in ammunition belts.
All concealed by fog, so you can't see anything.
You don't even see the explosion. It's just like this little flash of white.
Yeah. He comes back with all their shit covered in blood, and he starts washing it off.
And they're like, are you okay? You're bleeding. And Furiosa's like, that's not his blood. God, that was so great, because that could have easily been another action sequence.
Yeah, just kind of like giving Max a hand job. He's so awesome. Look what he can do.
But no, he just goes off into the darkness, and he's like, yeah, if I don't come back in 15 minutes, you leave.
Yep.
And then they're just waiting.
It's been 15 minutes. I'm back. They're all dead. Don't ask.
Just let me wash off. I need to get this crap off of me. God, that was so good. This movie did so much to subvert all typical action movie tropes up to this point, while still being an absolutely amazing action movie.
Yeah, those scenes, I couldn't get bored.
You're watching the whole time, and while nothing is particularly surprising, you go through sections of the action sequences where some explosion happens, or someone dies, a car goes up in flames, and you're like, yeah!
Mm-hmm. It was like that when Joe's face got ripped off.
Oh, that was so good.
It was satisfying.
I don't know if you were paying attention, but like I noticed about half the time I was in some like fantastic fist bump pose. Like, yeah, go! That was great!
Just spend the whole movie frozen in fist bump pose.
The awesome guy's reaction. They're just
yes.
like, yeah! Oh, man, that was...
One of my friends told me, and this is like secondhand information, so it could be wrong, but he told me that while filming, the director would play the movie back to other people in the studio and say, could you follow what was going on? And if they said yes, then he would up the pace of it so that they couldn't quite follow it, and they would have to watch it a second time to catch everything.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
really
cool.
He would do the reverse if they couldn't follow it.
That he would just try and he would consistently update the pace of the movie
mm-hmm.
throughout the movie process.
To be just above, I can follow this perfectly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if
that's so
true,
smart.
I should look that up.
That's so smart.
Good director. Even his kids' movies, like Happy Feet and Babe, they're good movies. They're for little kids, but they're not bad.
Right.
They're not shit. There's a lot of shit out there. No, we're not talking about the sequels. It's a requirement for sequels to be terrible most of the time.
Well, this is technically a sequel.
It is a sequel. I said most of the time.
Yeah, it's true. I was actually, before we started this, I was reading an interview with the cast about all the dirt and dust, and apparently they actually had like machines to shoot dust at or dirt at the actors in between takes. and Theron was talking about how she would wake up, not even bother showering or getting ready,
Smart.
get to the set and just roll around in the dirt for 5 minutes before starting to shoot.
That's kind of adorable.
And she's like, do I want to just roll around or do I want this fancy, expensive thing to throw dirt at me? And she's like, it's just way more practical to roll around in the dirt.
Yay!
Just imagine.
Happy Charlize Theron.
Yay!
Like
dirt.
a puppy.
Oh, that would be so cute. And she's just getting herself dirty on purpose, and that's exactly what she needed to do. There was no need to get into the makeup for those aspects of it.
Just use real dirt.
Just use real dirt. There's plenty of it around.
Oh, it's what was the name of the main character in Alien? It's escaping me because I'm
Ripley?
stupid. Ripley. Duh. Okay. Some people are calling Furiosa this generation's Ripley.
I'm okay with that.
I'm totally okay with that. I kind of wish she could be in a sequel.
I would watch a movie with both of those characters in it.
Making out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
They would be in space deserts.
Charlize Theron is timeless, in my opinion,
so
now.
So hot. Oh my god.
I mean, she's done other great movies before, like Monster. She was already timeless, but she's further cementing her legacy as far as I'm concerned.
She needs an Oscar for this.
Yeah? I don't know if this will win any Oscars.
If the Oscars weren't a circle jerk, this would absolutely get awards for stuff.
The Oscars are just a circle jerk.
Yeah.
We've already covered that.
This would have to get at least an award for visual effects.
Also, Tom Hardy can get an award for most adorable action movie hero because of all these pictures of him with pit bulls just getting kisses. There are so many pictures of him with dogs. And I saw these pictures after I saw Mad Max, and I was thinking, oh, I'm glad Max gets a happy ending.
Yeah. Look at all them happy dogs and happy Max.
Yay!
On that same topic, I actually saw someone had gathered a whole bunch of his old MySpace photos.
What?
He looks like such a dork.
Everybody looks like a dork on MySpace.
I know, but you can't put these two next to each other and see them as the same person.
I want to see him making MySpace face.
I know you guys can't see that, but...
With the Mad Max narration over it.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Max.
I needed to survive.
I might consider watching the other movies just so that I can be all caught up and know everything, but I might wait until this one is on DVD.
So that you can watch that one last and end on a high note?
Yeah, because I've heard that this one was so great that those might leave me feeling disappointed. That's what I've been told.
I mean, this was just so great.
Also, Mel Gibson can eat every dick on Earth. I don't like supporting him, but I think it's way past the point of supporting him if you watch Mad Max.
I don't have an argument for that.
Yeah. I knew you would agree.
I don't think I'll be able to stop talking about this movie for a while.
Me neither, and that's okay. It's still popping up on my Twitter and my Facebook and pretty much every social media outlet that I occupy.
Totally down with that.
If you haven't seen it, why?
What is wrong with you? I mean, obviously I didn't see it the first weekend, but we fixed that right quick.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Go see it. Even if you have to pay like $20 for a ticket.
This movie is just pure gasoline.
Yeah, sometimes literally at parts.
Yeah, there's a one part where a car just gets completely flooded with it and refuses to blow up.
Yeah.
But still, it's there.
That was Nux's car.
Yes.
He started flooding it with gasoline to go out in this big fiery explosion.
Yeah, and then Max is like, nope.
Oh, man. I know that last time we said that we were going to do dramatic readings, but this absolutely takes precedent over that.
Yeah, we got out of the movie and we were like, gonna do the show on this?
Gonna do the show on this.
Yup.
So I guess next time we'll do dramatic readings if something other awesome doesn't come up.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're a dude who loves this kind of movies, if you're a lady who likes strong female characters, or the reverse of any of those, go see the movie.
If you're a fan of 80s action films, I recommend this.
If you like fun.
If you like fun, if you like cars, if you like action, if you like fire.
If you like Charlize Theron's eyes.
She's so pretty, even with the grease on her face. That
actually made her look more cool.
It made her look so badass.
Yeah.
I could just watch. I would watch a whole movie about her. Oh wait, I did.
Ha ha ha!
Go see this movie.
It's
10 out of 10.
awesome.
Would watch again.
Would watch a lot.
Would watch many times.
Yep. To feel better or something even. Once it's on DVD, that's going to be my go-to movie when I'm feeling lazy.
That and Kung Fu Panda 2.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Which has
too.
another badass female
we'll talk
lead.
about that someday.
I think we have talked it.
A little. Not as a feature.
We keep mentioning it.
Yeah, wait until Kung Fu Panda 3 comes out.
In like 2 years?
In 1 year. 1 year.
Oh, right. It was Power Rangers and that got pushed back.
Yeah, and Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim 2017. Mad Max now.
Yeah!
And on that note,
we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.